I don't know about Peter Obi's template. I'm pursuing Soludo's template, which is Soludo's template that it takes about, producing results by being accountable and prudent.
When you spread your investment, some will go up, some will come down, but overall, the company is still there, the company is still doing well, it's still part of a global chain and everything. I needed to explain it not because I'm defending comment by my brother. My brother is the brother, I remain my brother, we're very close, I remain prayerful for him. For other things which I didn't succeed, God has given him opportunity to do it and succeed. For me,
Onanuga wrote, revealed, Peter Obi supporters are the people planning mayhem in Nigeria. Obi should be held responsible for anarchy. They are the people spreading the hashtags, end bad governance, Tinubu must go, and Revolution 2024. They are not Democrats, but anarchists. They are attempting to call out our people via propaganda because their messiah, Peter Obi, failed to win the presidency in the 2023 election. As bad losers, they don't have the patience to wait for another election in 2027. They would rather destabilize Nigeria by staging a civilian coup against President Bola Tinubu.
Our brother, Peter Obi, show leadership like Edwin Clark did by resolving first the crisis in the Labour Party. For a man who wants to run Nigeria, you have one of the smallest parties in Nigeria, and you cannot even resolve the crisis in that Labour Party. Is it the crisis of Boko Haram that you will come and resolve in Nigeria?
To some, he is the last moral voice in Nigerian politics. To others, he is a sore loser, refusing to accept electoral defeats. But wherever you stand, one thing is certain. Peter Obi has become the man Tinubu's government, the APC loyalists, and even some PDP chieftains can't ignore. From fairy town hall speeches to explosive interviews in London and Washington, even in Nigeria, Peter Obi has taken on not just the APC administration, but the very political architecture of Nigeria itself. Now, his critics are responding, and they are not pulling any punches. This is not just a political rivalry. This is word of war, a battle over who controls the Nigerian narrative. It started with a series of lectures. In the early 2025, Peter Obi gave a keynote address at Johns Hopkins University, where he warned that Nigeria was sliding into economic collapse. Under President Tinubu, he cited soaring inflation, an unstable naira, and poor fiscal discipline. But Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu wasn't having it. In a viral press briefing, Sanwo-Olu accused Obi of demarketing Nigeria abroad, suggesting that the former Anambra State Governor was biting the hand that fed him.
The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, yesterday took on the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general election, Peter Obi, claiming the former Anambra State governor lacks the moral right to talk about poverty in Nigeria. In a statement, he personally signed titled, and I quote, factually addressing Mr. Peter Obi's criticism of Nigeria at Johns Hopkins University. Sanwo-Olu accused Obi of contributing to the current poverty in the country and alleged that under him as governor in Anambra State, the menace grew astronomically. During his remarks at Johns Hopkins University, Obi had drawn a comparison between Nigeria, China, and Vietnam in the area of poverty, stressing that Nigeria, with about 50 million poor people, had the least number of people in poverty in 1990 than any of the three countries. But Sanwo-Olu said Obi not only demarketed Nigeria by openly denigrating the country abroad, but also made statements that he had no moral standing to make these statements.
Who is Peter Obi to criticize anyone? Sanwo-Olu snapped. What did he do in Anambra? No one remembers. The response came fast. Peter Obi, in a recent event, detailed a statement. I said the truth, telling Nigeria and the world the fact about our economy is not demarketing, it is a call for urgency.
I spoke a few days ago and people said I'm demarketing Nigeria. When it's true to be demarketed, One bank has just shown that 75% of Nigerians in rural areas are poor. It's one bank demarketing Nigeria. UNICEF 2 days ago released that Nigeria now have over 2 million malnourished children, the second highest in the world. Are they demarketing Nigeria? Let's face the reality. Their labor is in vain. We have a country now that is not democratic. We are not a democratic country. Let's tell ourselves the truth. Is the election that happened in Edo, is it democratic? Just the last election in Edo is the most undemocratic election. Everybody knows who won that election. So why are we keeping it and saying, let their work not be in vain? It is in vain. So we can start picking the pieces.
For many, this was the opening shot in a larger political offensive. Obi was no longer just critiquing politics, he was naming names. But some of Obi's loudest critics weren't just from rival parties, they came from home. Anambra State Governor Charles Soludo, a fellow Igbo politician and former CBN governor, launched a stunning public takedown of Peter Obi in late 2022. And as well, recently, Soludo questions the much talked about Anambra State investment made during Obi's tenure, calling them next to nothing. Let's be clear, Soludo said Anambra's poverty level doubled under Obi. He saved money but starved development.
I don't know about Peter Obi's template. I'm pursuing Soludo's template, which is Soludo's template that it takes about, producing results by being accountable and prudent. It's not, we don't save money for the sake of saving money. Saving money is not an output. It's not an outcome by itself. We put money to produce value for our people. If you don't have something to spend money on, then save it. But if you have something, you can't have your people in the hospital dying and you say you are saving money and so on, and poverty is escalating and so on and so forth. Now, our own fiscal prudence is to be able to cut down waste.
Why would Soludo, a man from Obi's region, go so hard? Insiders say that it was a clash of egos. Others say Soludo was positioning himself for national relevance, trying to weaken Obi's popularity in the Southeast. Obi refused to return fire directly, but his supporters did. Across social media, the Obedience branded Soludo a traitor, accusing him of sabotaging his own brother for support from Abuja. The fight grew more personal when recently the governor of Anambra State launched a personal attack on the person of Peter Obi. There were awkward statements, jaw-dropping, and a cold moment for political observers. Some persons have said this was personal.
Mr. President, I want to put on record that it is in time for all progressives. It is time for all progressives, for all the federalists, and all parties with social democratic, centrist, and left-of-center credentials to unite, to advance the purpose of a united and progressive Nigeria. We request you, Mr. President, as the leader of the biggest progressive party in Nigeria, you lead the one of the biggest. I leave the first one.
Enter Senate's President, Akpabio. In May of 2025, Peter Obi, during a gathering in a recent event organized in Nigeria, Peter Obi made a statement that some APC politicians didn't find funny.
I listened to my brother Mike when he talked about, may the labor of our heroes past not be in vain. I'm sorry, I'm happy that Jack1 is here, and I'm happy that Jonathan is here. But I can tell you, their sacrifice is in vain. They've sacrificed for nothing. We're in this country when people were protesting, when there was no need to protest. Under Jonathan. Where are those protesters? Have they died? Where are they? So why are we saying it should not be in vain? They don't increase fuel from 87 naira to 120, and people were protesting in this country. And when it was 900, they were not protesting. Are they dead? So why are we saying it should not be in vain? People protested when naira was 180, and when it was 1,500, they're not protesting. Are they dead? So let's not say it should not be in vain. I spoke a few days ago, and people said I'm demarketing Nigeria. When is truth being demarketed?
And the first to respond was the Senate President, Akpabio. It was a sharp critic aimed at ruling class, both past and present. But Akpabio took it personal. He lashed out during a Senate plenary. How can a man who couldn't even control his party in an election insult our founding fathers? Akpabio said. Akpabio didn't stop there. He questioned Obi's capacity to lead Nigeria, accusing him of being out of touch with real politics. Go and fix your small party first, then come back and talk about running Nigeria.
When somebody makes a statement that the labors of our heroes past are in vain, I beg to disagree. Let our brother Peter Obi show leadership like Edwin Clark did by resolving first the crisis in the Labour Party. For a man who wants to run Nigeria, you have one of the smallest parties in Nigeria, and you cannot even resolve the crisis in that Labour Party. Is it the crisis of Boko Haram that you will come and resolve in Nigeria? I would like us to be known for what we did when we had the opportunities. As I speak now, I can tell you about the dualized thoroughfares in my state. I can tell about the flyovers in my state. I can tell you about the best international hospital in my state. I can tell you about the monuments of government houses that are built, both for the governor and deputy. I'm one of the best digitalized governor's office in Nigeria. I can tell you about the best international stadium in West Africa. I can tell you about the free and compulsory education that I did for all Nigerians. I can tell you about the unity I brought in religion by sponsoring over 5,800 Muslims to the Holy Land and over 12 to 15,000 Christians to Rome and to Jerusalem. But then, those who are aspiring as presidential candidates and trying to cause division with their mouths, using the social media, tell them to resolve the small crisis in the smallest party they have in Nigeria first, before they come to talk about the larger Nigeria. But for the social media, it is unregulated. I wish you luck as you have a field day. I'm saying this because this is what Edwin Clark would have advised if he were alive.
Obi is yet to respond to that particular statement from Akpabio. To many Nigerians, it looked like Obi had rattled the Senate president. To Akpabio's camp, it was just a reality check for a man they still see as an outsider. When you criticize a certain president, the response often comes from the shadows. Not this time. Bayo Onanuga, special advisor on information and strategy to President Tinubu, has made it his mission to call out Peter Obi. After Obi said democracy had collapsed under this government, Onanuga fired back. Peter Obi should stop playing to the gallery. Nigeria's democracy is stronger than ever, he said. He called Obi's words dangerous, insightful, potentially subversive. And then he dropped the hammer. He's not just a sore loser, he's flirting with anarchy. The statement was widely seen as a warning, not just to Obi, but to the growing obedient movement that became a digital force of its own. Obi clarified, I am not against Nigeria, I'm against the corruption that is killing her. But the message from Aso Rock was clear, criticize the government and expect fire.
Onanuga wrote, revealed, Peter Obi supporters are the people planning mayhem in Nigeria. Obi should be held responsible for anarchy. They are the people spreading the hashtags End Bad Governance, Tinubu Must Go, and Revolution 2024. They are not Democrats, but anarchists. They are attempting to call out our people via propaganda because their messiah, Peter Obi, failed to win the presidency in the 2023 election. As bad losers, they don't have the patience to wait for another election in 2027.
They would rather destabilize Nigeria by staging a civilian coup against President Bola Tinubu.
You would think that Peter Obi's old party would defend him, but not quite. Inside the People's Democratic Party, many still blame Obi for their 2023 defeat. Privately, party leader says his defection to the Labour Party splits the opposition vote, paving the way for Tinubu's win. Some even called it betrayal. A former PDP governor from the Southers reportedly told party insiders, Obi was never one of us. He used the PDP and dumped the PDP. In early 2025, PDP chieftains began floating the idea of united opposition front for 2027. Obi would not lead it. Still, public statement remained cautious. No open attacks, just a cold, careful distance, as if acknowledging that Obi, despite their anger, remains too powerful to ignore. Unlike the PDP, APC is not afraid to strike. Its media machinery has repeatedly labeled Obi an alarmist, propagandist, and hypocrite after Obi's criticism of Tinubu's economy in the early 2025. An APC statement accused him wishing for Nigeria failure just as to stay relevant. One APC senator went further. Obi is campaigning in exile. He lost, he should move on. But Obi is not retreating. At the Labour Party Policy Summit in March, he doubled down. We will continue to speak. Nigeria cannot heal unless we treat the infection, and that infection is bad leadership. Obi at this point was back on offensive, and the APC was back on edge. Through it all, President Bola Tinubu has remained silent. No direct mention of Peter Obi, no statements, no interviews. But his silence speaks volumes. Obi's growing moral capital, especially among young voters, is becoming a political problem. He may not hold office, he may not have a traditional structure, but in the streets of Onitsha, in different parts of social media, the markets of Kano, the schools in Ibadan, and the apps on Nigerian phones, Obi is still trending. This is more than political banter, more than ego clashes. This is a struggle for Nigerians' soul, waged not with bullets, but with words. Peter Obi represents a vision of transparency, reform, and minimalism in leadership. His critics, from Sanwo-Olu to Soludo, from Akpabio to Onanuga, sees him as naive, unrealistic, or just bitter. But the people, they are listening, and they are choosing sides, because in this battle, there is no neutral ground.
If you look at where we are today, it's like they started in 1999, laid the foundation. Some people came and took it to decking, and some people were trying to raise it to first floor, and some people came and knocked everything down. That's the situation where we are now. Everything has been knocked down. Nothing works. And I'm somebody who can say this exemplarily. I became a governor to the court when President Obasanjo and Atiku were government. I did not pay the court 1 naira. I was sitting in my house in the office, and the court declared me winner. When a governor is not student, it can't happen in Nigeria today. When I was being impeached, the president sent people to come and intervene on my behalf. Ken Namani came begging house people not to impeach me. Today, the president impeaches the person. So that is the thing that collapse. They were begging my house not to impeach me. And they were PDP. I was in anger. And they were begging. President was calling me and said, Peter, are you okay? Even when I was impeached, President Obasanjo called me and said, are you okay? Are you safe? When I go back from the court, when court eventually declared me under Anduba, President Yaradua called my phone in London and said, congrats. I said, President, I can't come back because, if I come back, these people, he said, tell me the flight in which you're coming back. And I told him, when I came in the first time, military people came to receive me at the airport. I couldn't believe it. I took me straight to him. Now the president will ask me not to come back here again. So insane. Let's not talk about it. Let's talk about how you're going to rebuild it. It's collapsing.
What do you think? Is Peter Obi a necessary voice holding a corrupt system to account, or he is just another politician refusing to accept defeat? Is the APC defending governance or silencing dissenting voices? And can Nigeria ever face its politics without confronting uncomfortable truths? Drop your thoughts in the comment below. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications, because the war of words is far from over, and 2027 is already on the horizon. History is watching, and Nigeria is speaking.